Bad news as the summer approaches. More of us are getting sick from insect bites.
We're talking about mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas. The CDC is warning tonight that illnesses from those bug bites tripled over the last 13 years. You can see the sudden spike. That includes cases of life-threatening diseases such as West Nile, Zika, and Lyme disease. 13 News Now reporter Megan Shin has more.
Because of an increase in mosquitoes, fleas, and ticks in bodies of water like this, the CDC says there are now 9 new germs in the U.S., and that's something that the country is not ready to handle. Grab the bug spray, because the battle to avoid illness from mosquitoes, fleas, and ticks just got 3 times harder, according to the CDC.
That's not really that surprising. I do believe that.
The CDC says they're collecting more than 640,000 reported cases of mosquito, tick, and flea bites from 2004 to 2016.
We're not ever really surprised, and that's why, you start to see the vans out on the roads a little earlier than in previous years.
Julie Green with the Virginia Beach pest control business Mosquito Joe says these bugs have grown because of shorter winters and warmer temperatures in places like Hampton Roads.
So we have higher breeding grounds for mosquitoes, for ticks, things like that. Coupled with precipitation, it's just prime breeding ground.
Those bug bites can lead to diseases like Zika, Lyme disease, or West Nile virus. The CDC says the increase in mosquito-borne diseases are from other parts of the world.
And the fleas and ticks with the spike in Zika that we saw in 2016, you can attribute that to a few things. One, they're coming in on freight, the more increased travel.
Virginia Beach resident Terrell Surreal was taken back by the report.
Well, hopefully they'll do something about it because it's nice to be in hot summer. There'll be a lot of mosquitoes out here.
This report is the first one the CDC has done with collecting trends on diseases caused by fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes.
I hate them. They suck.
She has to spend the whole summer with like a bug bite stick in her pocket, or we can't do anything like this.
It hurts and itches a lot.
The report also says the first line of defense for the community is the state and local health departments. For more information, go to our website, 13newsnow.com. Reporting in Virginia Beach, I'm Megan Shin, 13 News Now.
So what can you do to protect yourself and your family? Well, doctors say get rid of any standing water around your house. Wear insect repellent to avoid bites. Make sure you wear long protective clothing. And if you're having a problem with mosquitoes, call the professionals. As for ticks, experts suggest wearing insect repellent with DEET, D-E-E-T, and keeping arms and legs well covered when spending time outdoors. If you see a tick burrowed in your skin, don't try to remove it with your fingers. Use tweezers to grab it below the head and pull up, and be sure all parts of the tick have been removed.
It was election day in local cities across Hampton Roads and on the Eastern Shore. Voters elected mayors, city council members, and school board members. In Chesapeake, Mayor Rick West will continue to lead the city. He picked up 58% of the vote to 42% for his challenger. Tonight, Mayor West won by a pretty comfortable margin. Chanuher has more on that race.
Well, that's right, David. Mayor Rick West won by a pretty comfortable margin, and he acknowledged to me right off the bat that back in November when he became the mayor, he didn't become the mayor through votes, but tonight the people of Chesapeake spoke by keeping him as the mayor. Just like that, Mayor Rick West maintains his seat as Chesapeake's mayor, bringing in more than half of the votes Tuesday.
The voters have spoken, and we're going to carry on and try to make this city a better place to be.
Being the leader of a city covering about 350 square miles, Mayor West wants people in Chesapeake to know he's working for them.
I think they can expect me to listen to them, number one. I think they can expect me to try to get consensus in terms of where we think we need to go. We've got a ways to go with our infrastructure. We've got to attract quality jobs.
It is a growth city. It's going to be dealing with growing pains, and the question is, Mayor and City Council, how do they deal with those growing pains?
TCC business professor and Chesapeake resident Peter Shaw agrees with the mayor about the infrastructure and growing it in a way to accommodate the city's population.
If you've got a growth city, you have to portray yourself to the voters as being a good steward and how to grow the city in a safe fashion and in a reasonable fashion.
He believes that brings into account law enforcement, schools, and transportation, how to grow that along with the city. But that's where Mayor West says, look at the numbers. It's not growth the city can't handle moving forward from the elections.
It is the perception that we're growing, like we're exploding, but that's simply not accurate when you look at the facts. But we're going to continue to provide the infrastructure for that growth, and I think when we do that, it won't feel like it. And I'll agree that it does feel like we're exploding, but it's factually not really happening. Every area of the city feels somewhat left out. So we want to make sure that they all feel part of the prosperity that we're going to have.
Now, his challenger, Joanne Gallant, came in with just under 10,000 votes. Again, West was sworn in as mayor back in November when longtime Mayor Alan Krasnoff resigned. Live in Chesapeake, Chanu Hart, 13 News Now.
Also in Chesapeake, voters elected 5 people to fill city council seats. The winners are Ella Ward, Steve Best, John Dietrich, Susan Vitale, and Matthew Hamill. They beat out 6 other candidates. 4 people were fighting to unseat Mayor McKinley Price in Newport News. Price easily picking up the win. You can see with all of the precincts reporting, this wasn't even close.
The re-elected mayor of Newport News, Dr. McKinley Price.
At the Boathouse Live restaurant in City Center, Mayor Price spoke words of gratitude for the city, the people, and his opponents. Santel Creekmore, Dominique Green, and Councilman Marcellus Harris. He says he wants to continue fighting for the future of his city, creating jobs, building safer neighborhoods, and strengthening schools.
I love Newport News, and I'm going to give it my best for the next 4 years to make sure that we continue to grow and be a place where people want to come live, where our children want to come live, play, and learn.
As Price begins his 3rd term, he's saying it will be his final term as mayor. He told us tonight he wants to spend more time with his family. In Norfolk, voters today chose first fully elected school boards. Adele Martin, Tanya Basson, Carlos Clanton, Christine Smith, and Lauren Campson will represent the 5 wards in the city. Up until 2016, all the board members were appointed. Voters decided they wanted to elect the board. The first 2 elected members were picked in May of 2016. All of the results, the local elections, are scrolling at the bottom of your screen. We'll also have the information posted on our website and one more option on our free 13 News Now app. Just click the election results tile.
Some trouble on I-264 tonight at the tail end of the evening rush hour. A VDOT spokeswoman tells us there were multiple crashes around the Newtown Road exit, affecting both the eastbound and westbound lanes. There was also a car on fire in that area. VDOT had to close several lanes. No word tonight on whether anyone was hurt. 1 year after a drunk driver killed a Chesapeake teenager, the teen's family still struggles with the pain, but they say their daughter's legacy lives on. Today in court, Gerard Johnson pleaded guilty to a long list of charges in that crash that killed Caitlin Duffy and left Sabrina Mundorf badly injured. The charges include DUI, aggravated involuntary manslaughter, possession of cocaine, and hit and run. Johnson will be sentenced in September and faces a maximum of 47 years in prison. Caitlin Duffy's parents have not missed any of Johnson's court appearances as they wait for closure.
Seeing him walk out every single time is really hard. It's very, very hard, but I wanted him to look me in the face.
Sabrina Mundorf has lasting injuries, including a permanent brain injury and permanent orthopedic injuries. A scholarship has been set up in Caitlin Duffy's name, already raising more than $20,000, and a golf tournament is planned for this month to add to the fund.
More developments tonight in the Russia investigation. President Trump's former attorney says special counsel Robert Mueller raised the prospect of issuing a subpoena for the president to testify. Attorney John Dowd says Mueller's team broached the subject in March during a meeting with Trump's legal team. This is the first time Mueller has raised the possibility of compelling Trump to testify as part of the Russia probe. Dowd resigned from the legal team more than a month ago. The president has since hired former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani and 2 former federal prosecutors for his legal team.